Well, what became Kottke.org started in 1998 when I decided I needed to have sort of an online diary to put things, a place to put my thoughts. I was doing this other project called Oscillate, which is spelled 0 and the numeral 8. And I was doing that project, and that was a sort of an episodic kind of web project. I would do an episode every 3 or 4 weeks where it would be something about design or writing or some little thing. But I decided that I wanted to start writing more, and so I began this little web journal thing on Oscillate, and eventually was spending more time on that than Oscillate itself. So I kind of spun it off and put it at a different domain, which was Kottke.org. And it was very much modeled after sort of the online diaries of like the not the early 90s, but the mid to late 90s. And weblogs that were just sort of coming out at the time. There was a general awareness among a group of people that there were these things called weblogs that were slightly different than a journal because they were more about links and they had a slightly different format. They were reverse chronological. It was very much, the point was to link to people and things, and Bill found this link and Mary commented on it here, and things like that. And eventually Kottke.org sort of morphed into that. It wasn't a straight up journal for too long, maybe a few, a couple, 2 or 3 months. And it started to be more linky, and then developed into, using links more frequently, and eventually, I mean, now what it is it's a, basically you can follow me as I explore, the internet and find interesting things to read on it. And it's sort of me, just riffing on whatever's out there, I guess, that day. I just feel really lucky to be doing what I'm doing and where I'm doing it. And, I don't have a boss. I don't have to work. I don't have clients. I have readers, but they're sort of a massive collective, so they don't really have any way to tell me to do anything, except over weeks and months and years. I get little bits of feedback here and there, and they can tell me, you need to move this in another direction because this is getting stale, or what have you. And it's very lucky that I get to do that. And as far as a personal philosophy, I don't know. I'm not introspective in that way to sit down and say, here's what I've learned or whatever. Like I said before, I'm always like feeling my way along, experimenting and things like that, and not, I'm not that conceptual, I guess. And I don't have a concept by which my life is ruled. I mean, I tend towards simplification. Things that are simple. Let's say I read an article and it's a 2,000 word article. It's huge. I'll try and put that into 3 sentences to explain it to somebody. And I feel like I do that with other areas of my life as well. My design is very streamlined, simple. My wardrobe, my approach to, I don't have a lot of possessions. I try and keep the number of my possessions to a minimum. I'm not a shopaholic. I don't like shopping. I don't like accruing things. I like getting rid of things. I like keeping around only when I need. So I guess that's the closest I can get to a personal philosophy. I don't like imparting things to my readership. I purposefully don't do that. I don't say you should think this or you should think that. I think people should be able to, there are a few things I am, overtly sort of biased on, and it shows. But for the most part, I think I do a pretty good job of being neutral and just sort of, here's this thing, you should think what you want about it. I've told you enough about it. If you're interested, you can go read it. If you're not, you don't have to. I don't tell people they should donate to, certain charities or, endorse certain candidates or anything like that. I don't know, I'm just not comfortable with that. I don't like using my soapbox in that way, I guess. I feel like I use it to inform, not to motivate or to steer people in a certain direction.